Presentation is going to be on Battle of the Banks, Australia versus Internationals. Just briefly, we're going to be quickly covering our research methodology, then taking a good look at the current industry overview for banking across Australia and the UK, and also America, and also looking a little more closely at how banks can improve through using current best practice with external industries. So our research methodology. We really look at an end-to-end process, starting with the discovery phase, which is asking customers about brands, asking them to recall brands, and then starting to delve a little bit more into the consider phase, where we're looking at where they're actually coming to find different brands. And this is all part of our marketing effectiveness platform, our DME platform. This then moves across into
Unmuted.
This all moves across into our operational platform, our DSE, our sales effectiveness platform, where we start to delve more closely into the consider phase, asking our customers questions about how brands introduce their products and how they allow them to compare those products on their site. We then move into the act phase, which is looking at application forms and channel selection. So how we gather this information, we get a range of customers and we ask them to look at their behaviour or behavioural questioning. We then move into some attitudinal questions around how they engage with various brands in online spaces. We then move into a customer audit of websites, looking at how they engage with various product information and current navigation within websites through behavioural tasks. Finally, we combine that data with best practice audits done by IT professionals, which moves into our DSE platform. We are going to focus on our DSE information today. So we start with initial engagement, then move into introducing options, looking at how those options are then evaluated by the customer, looking at again how brands then facilitate that movement from the customer into channel selection, and finally the application form. So we do separate these between desktop and mobile, but today's data will be across both devices. So an industry overview of banking in Australia and the UK. How are we comparing with each other? Global Reviews currently monitors a huge range of brands. I'll just give you a moment to have a look. Suncorp Banking in Australia, Westpac, ANZ, again NAB. In the UK, we look at Barclays, we look at Santander, NatWest, Lloyds Banking, and we also look at American banks, Banks of America and Ally. Just to give you a breakdown of the customers that we surveyed in today's data, there's a very even skew between Australia and the UK. Again, 50-50 male-female, and we also see a dominance in users who are using Chrome as their preferred web browser. In terms of how the industry is currently
Muted. Unmuted.
In terms of how the industry is currently performing, we can see that credit cards are really dominating the industry at the moment for best practice in operational performance. Again, we've only just started monitoring mobile information and mobile devices, but we can see very quickly that these are moving upwards in terms of dominating current performance for banking and for customers and what their expectations are around websites. In terms of overall performance, Australia is slightly outperforming our UK and international banks. Again, we can see that St George is really leading the way for Australian banks with an average DSE score of 63%, followed by Westpac at 60%, ANZ at 59%. Our UK banks are more around the 40s at the moment. So in terms of what effort we're asking for customers when they visit our sites, both on desktop and mobile, we can clearly see that mobile is currently a much easier platform for our customers. Again, looking at a plus 11% in terms of far less than I expected and slightly less than I expected effort scores when compared to both UK and Australian desktop devices. In terms of our top 3 wants that customers look for in banking, customers really want information that is quick to understand, and again, they really want to see information, fees and charges and interest rates up front when they come to your site. Again, navigation is also key in terms of how we present this information. When looking for fee information, on an average of 35%, customers would encounter a problem. There was a number of 380 out of 1,084 consumers in our study who actually noted that they were having issues with locating information. So that indicates to us that currently fee information is not necessarily clear in banking websites. What will our UK banking customers do if they encounter problems on a desktop compared to Australia? Again, very similar in terms of how they look at leaving a website, though UK is slightly higher in that UK customers will tend to leave websites and look for another provider rather than go to help options. Again, we can see that telephone numbers in Australia are still very, very important, though we can also see that web chat is a feature that is increasing time on time when we do these studies. Again, less than half the Australian banks are currently offering online chat as a help feature within their sites. In terms of overall experience with banking sites, it's fairly strong. However, again, just referring to mobile, we can see that this is becoming a preferred channel and a much easier channel for customers to engage with banking information. So we can see some of these attitudinal insights, such as, I felt very confident using the website. I would imagine that most people would learn to use this website very quickly. This all ties back to navigation and placement of account fee information and rates. If we look at terms of how customers currently advocate banks, they're not really overly fussed about advocating banks, but there is 1 in 2 customers who will actually advocate a bank and website based on their experience, which is interesting if you consider that most customers actually are quite cynical looking at the current skew of comments on this page. Again, how can banks improve customer experience through current digital practice? So this section will really go through a number of examples across a number of industries around who is doing best practice and how our mortgage, which is one of our least performing areas of banking, can actually utilise these experiences and these examples to better their current offering for customers. So again, overall, the experience in terms of effort for customers is quite poor with mortgages, and we can see that it's slightly worse with internationals when compared to Australian banking websites. Again, we can see that 20% of UK customers would look for another provider with a mortgage website compared to Australians at 15% if they encountered a problem on site. We can also see that for Australia, the more important help features are having a telephone number quite prominently, and also web chat, which is quite interesting as it is growing study on study. Again, for the UK, we can also see that frequently asked questions and having a callback option are also quite important for their customers. So Australians spend a lot of time researching mortgage lenders. We can see that 34% of consumers use their home computer for all of the time they search on mortgages. Again, 30% of consumers use their phone up to 25% of the time. We can also assume that this is for quicker information where they may have already started their search on desktop. Again, the majority will spend between 2 to 6 hours total looking at mortgage, which is quite a lot of investment when you consider how little information sometimes there is available on websites. So it shows that customers are coming back again and again and doing a lot of comparison. Again, they will consider up to 4 to 6 companies within their choices. And again, there is a real focus on trust in their initial preference as to who they will finally choose for their mortgage loans. Again, trust is the number 2 reason why customers preferred a mortgage lender. We can see here in terms of what motivated a customer to shortlist them as a mortgage lender. I'm a current customer at 70%, followed by I trust this company at 50%. This then carries through again as the second highest ranked preference with their final preference for who they will choose as a mortgage provider. Again, biggest beneficiaries of trust-based choices are the Commonwealth Bank, ANZ, NAB and Westpac, and Tier 2 choices based on trust are the mortgage lenders such as Aussie. Again, just in terms of looking at current most wants for or most important features for customers within a mortgage site is really having upfront interest rates, looking at account fees and charges very quickly, followed by how much trust is shown within the website and how quickly the website meets their needs in terms of their wants for their mortgage home loan. So just to break these down separately, customers want interest rates and account fees and information up front. So we can see that someone who does this very well is Santander. Again, they include a highlighted text box in their website on their landing page for credit cards, which has all relevant account fee and rate information. So it's upfront, it's transparent for the customer and immediately builds trust. Again, their simple navigation is another way in which they help to shorten the overall click path so customers can get to what that information around accounts and fees more quickly. Bank of America uses their mortgage rates as a driver, showing it on their landing page, which is something that a lot of local Australian banks don't actually do at the moment. So they're quite transparent, and this transparency is again another builder of trust for customers. We can also see that another American bank, Capital One, also display their mortgage rates very prominently on their website. Again, this is just sitting below the fold on their landing page for mortgages. Again, another American bank, Ally, go a step further and use their mortgage rate or their product rate as a key feature in their website, and they place it prominently to the left of the page, which is the first area where customers will generally look when they come to a website. They then follow this through by having quick links to interest rates and fee information that come out in a drop-down box in the same page. Again, they also use animation to allow customers to be able to quickly calculate what their savings will be through a rates feature. They also use tables to easily display more in-depth information about fee and account charges. One of the banks that does this well in Australia is ING. Again, keeping everybody, all their customers, to a single page and using animation to improve scrolling by having page anchors that auto-scroll to various sections within the site. Again, CrownBet is interesting as another outside industry for who does this well. As you can see, it's a very complex product set, and what they do to get by this is have two navigation menus. So the top navigation menu utilises icons which clearly link to familiar understandings of customers, so they can also use the text and the icon as a driver for where they need to go. They then follow this through with a secondary menu to the left, which has quick links such as tomorrow's racing. Again, the universities also have a very complex product range. So they show this. This is an example of Deakin University, and they use a very clear table and again icons to quickly highlight the various courses that they offer for students. Again, QUT is another example of this, where they've prioritised their courses, and so they know that business, for instance, is a key course for customers and make this top of mind within their various navigation menus. Again, we know that trust is extremely important with customers for mortgages. A company that does this well in the UK is Nationwide as a bank. So they've incorporated a number of trust indicators and messages into their website, including their navigation menus. Again, they also have separate sections which allow customers to browse further information and messaging that will continue to build trust within their site and for customers. Again, Ladbrokes quickly uses trust around secure payments by including SSL certificates and also using locks, which represent safety for customers. They also display a range of payment options, which also immediately build trust through their own brand recognition. So just moving more quickly as well. Again, a previous example, Ali, also used trust very quickly by using customer advocacy. Again, Amy and Apia also use trust very quickly. They show industry awards on their website and also use the colouring of the red to highlight the awards very prominently in their site. Amy as well also uses colouring, which is their signature colour, and they include trust statements around the size of their membership. Finally, we can see universities as well also use these trust statements by using industry awards around where they rank as a university. Again, other companies, examples that we can see within this page are Tesco, again, an Ireland prepaid power company who uses customer statements by current customers, and Host Plus, which is an insurance company who use a range of trust-related icons and visual imagery to build their trust within their site. Again, how can banks better meet in-market mortgage customers meet key needs? Australia does this really well from a banking perspective, so it's really a matter of looking at our own offerings. Again, NAB credit cards is a really great example of a bank who is meeting customer needs. So is Westpac Mobile and St George Mobile. We can see that through the language that they use and the placement of quick link icons and imagery, that this quickly establishes if the product will meet the customer's needs. Again, Westpac with their personal loans also use strong imagery and conversational language to build the needs meeting with their customers. So finally, who are Global Reviews? We're a digital consumer analytics company who was founded in 2000. We operate across a range of regions, both here in Australia and over in Europe. What you saw today was a high-level general industry overview, but if you are a client, there is a range of options that we can provide to you. Again, I'll now open up for questions if anybody has questions on some of the data that they saw today. So yes, one of the questions that I do have that I'll answer, in terms of what we prepare and show to clients, we do actually use examples of other industries in workshops and insights that we provide to clients. It is not just necessarily single industry focus. The reason for this is that we look at really who is doing best practice across everything in digital, not just necessarily in industry. That looks like all the questions we have today. I'd like to thank you for joining us, and I'll leave you with our contact information if there is anything more that we can help you with.